22-hour video, man. That's crazy. I mean, hell, I understand it though. I understand. People gonna watch it. They gonna watch 25K views. Hell, I watch that shit too. Anyways, welcome back, Team DWC. It's your boy TWP Popcorn. If y'all don't know what time it is, then I don't even know why y'all watching my videos. Hell, but it's 6:09 p.m. on a Wednesday, so that means I'm about 10 minutes late. But you know, we are still here for our video. Shouts out to the consistent schedule. You know, hell, hit the ring, go get something to eat. It be like that sometimes. But popcorn, you normally eat on Wednesdays beforehand. Yeah, well, I left my damn Cash App card at the house. Appreciate the one thumbs up, but ain't nobody said nothing, so I don't know who to give credit for that. But whoever it is, I know you a real one, cause hell, you like the video and ain't even here. You know what I mean? Ghost riding the whip type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's hilarious. Appreciate that though. Let me make sure I got this in view. Cause we gonna straight get to the videos. I ain't gonna play with you today. Alright, now that that's recording for that, gotta hurry up and get back over here. So I just left the popcorn sitting out with the cameras recording. Pretty big family of raccoons right there, though. They all got some size on them, too. Little field mouse. That's crazy. So most of it was eaten up by the raccoons. You know they mad. We can eat this shit all day, but it's full. Oh, now the birds get a wind of it, huh? little buddy was there till the wheels roll off. Said, hey, little homie, you got some milk? Why would they want milk with their popcorn? I don't know. Hell, what the fuck would you tell them to eat with their popcorn? Knowing they don't need no butter. Now you got all the animals like, is there any more of that popcorn here? Huh? It smells like popcorn. Said I can tell you there's butter on your hands when you put the camera in place. That's hilarious stuff. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, that's enough of nature. Oh, Lord. We got some shit to talk about, apparently.
Mr. Nice Guy was blowing up, man. We got customers from all over New York.
No, not that.
We even stole a few from Samson.
Oh, what's up, nigga? Come on in, man. Come on, wait, man. Thanks, baby. You know, he's beating all these stairs.
Yeah. Jesus. What can I get you today, Smoke a Lot?
Lovely. Let me get a pound of your Swedish chiba.
Damn. Yeah, son told me to bring a lot of weed, man. Oh, shit. Pound of my Swedish chiba. Don't get no better than that.
Smash you the bag, baby.
That's gonna be $9,600, bro.
See what I got. Here. Come on, man. Hang out for a minute and smoke with me. I got weed, got my bong out. Come on, son.
For you, man, I'll stay for a minute, but then I gotta be going.
And
Man, Smoke a Lot opened up to me like I was Barbara Walters. It was ridiculous. He told me about his lawyer,
he had sex with my mama. Why?
spirituality,
God, if you listen, help.
his bad back,
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
his love life.
I'm in for this, man. Get away from me, bitch.
I mean, talk about a guy with problems.
Tough break. I can't take it too far.
No wonder he smoked a pound a week. Somebody wanted it. So now he had a famous clientele, and
Green Eyes gonna miss you.
guess what else?
Call me next week. About weed. About weed.
What's up, my Legal News Network family and home gardening enthusiasts? Boy, have we got a show for you today, because today we're breaking down the top 5 states in America for home gardeners. Now, we're not just looking at legalization, but we're also digging into the things that matter most if you're planning to grow your own. How many grow, how many can be in flower at once, whether a medical card boosts your count or not, caregiver laws, and whether you can grow for others, and also the overall culture. Is the state really friendly to home gardeners, or are you technically legal but still at risk? So stick around until the end, because I'll also give you guys 3 honorable mentions that just barely missed the list, and maybe a 4th, so let's just jump right in. Now at number 5 we have Maine. Maine is one of the hidden gems for home gardeners. Adult use law is pretty strong. Any adult can grow 3 flowering plants, 12 immature plants, and unlimited seedlings. That unlimited seedling part is a huge deal because you can constantly have genetics ready. Now when it comes to the benefits that you may obtain if you have a medical card, you can grow up to 6 mature plants, doubling the flower cap compared to recreational growers. On top of that, you still get your 12 immature plants and unlimited seedlings. Now when it comes to the caregiver program, some describe Maine's laws as legendary. Caregivers can grow for multiple patients, meaning small-scale growers can legally cultivate significant numbers of plants if they're supporting registered patients. Now when it comes to culture and climate, Maine has a long history of independence and self-sufficiency, and the good herb fits right in. The outdoor grow season is shorter compared to states like California, but the community is extremely supportive of small growers. So why then is Maine only at number 5 on this list? Well, because those mature plant limits are a bit lower than some of the bigger states, but the unlimited seedlings and caregiver flexibility, as well as that medical boost that you get from having a medical card, does make Maine a home grow paradise. Now next up at number 4 we have Oklahoma. And Oklahoma may surprise you, but it does have one of the most wide open medical programs in the entire country. Now to grow in Oklahoma, you must have a medical card. With a license, patients can grow up to 6 mature plants and 6 seedlings. That's a solid balance, especially when compared to stricter states. Now the key difference here is how easy and affordable it is to get a medical card in Oklahoma, and the access to cards is a big thing. The process is very simple. The costs are low and thousands of residents qualify. In practice, almost anyone who wants to grow pretty much can. So despite the fact that it may be surprising that Oklahoma requires cards to grow and they actually made it onto this list, there are a lot of other benefits, and one of those benefits is caregiver laws. Now caregivers can grow on behalf of patients, and with the sheer number of cardholders in Oklahoma, this has created an entire ecosystem of small legal growers, and that is a good thing. Now for a state like Oklahoma, which traditionally took a very strong stance against the good herb and had really conservative and prohibitionist policies regarding drugs and alcohol, the state actually banned the good herb in 1933. But since then, Oklahoma's come a long way, especially when it comes to culture and enforcement. Gone are the days of prohibition and reefer madness, and in are the days of culture and enforcement. Nowadays, the population of home growers is expanding. With more than 400,000 medical patients and thousands of small grow operations, enforcement is light, and cannabis has become a part of the state's identity. Now, Oklahoma's warm growing season makes outdoor cultivation very doable, especially for some of those cultivars that finish quickly. But if things are so great, then why is it only on number 4 of this list? Well, even though it's medical only, the ease of access to cards and the state's cannabis culture make it feel pretty much like adult use. For practical purposes, Oklahoma is one of the friendliest states for home growers. Now here at number 3 we have Colorado. The original trailblazer, Colorado still earns a spot in the top 3. When it comes to their adult use laws, every adult can grow 6 plants total with up to 3 plants in flower at a time.
What
But
up, Scully?
homes
Good
with
to
more
see
than
you. How
one
you
adult
doing?
actually max out at
Y'all know
12
Scully did a
plants.
reading
Now there
last
are
night.
some
Go check it
benefits
out
when
if
it
you
comes to
ain't made
medical
it by there
cards.
yet.
Patients can apply for extended plant counts. In some cases, approved medical growers can cultivate up to 24 plants legally, depending on medical needs and
Yeah, they
local
somewhere.
approval. Now, Colorado being one of the first states to legalize have actually raked in tons of tax dollars when it comes to the good herb. And they've also been able to be a pillar for a lot of other states when they come to model their legalization laws. In terms of the culture, Colorado is awesome. Colorado was one of the first to legalize the good herb back in 2012. Growing your own is completely normalized, and even law enforcement generally treats small-time growers as a complete non-issue, especially if you're within those limits. Now, Colorado is a beautiful state, and the caregiver laws are awesome. Caregivers can grow for multiple patients, even though the state has tightened limits to prevent large-scale diversion. Still, this is a big plus for households supporting medical patients. Now, there are still some challenges, though. Despite its natural beauty and being the mile-high city, wink wink, local governments still have stricter ordinances, and there are some challenges, especially when it comes to growing outdoors. And that, in particular, can be risky due to Colorado's unpredictable weather. But still, the framework over there is pretty solid. So why then is Colorado only number 3 on this list? Well, even though the base plant counts are smaller than Michigan or Missouri, the medical extensions and caregiver allowances and deeply ingrained cannabis culture literally keep Colorado as one of the best states for growers, hands down. Now, next up at number 2 on this list, we have Michigan. And Michigan is hands down one of the most generous states for personal cultivation. Now, you may find this pretty interesting because recently on our list of the most friendly states in America when it comes to the good herb, at number 1 was Michigan. But number 2 on this list is where Michigan stands. Now, the adult use law in Michigan is pretty strong. Adults can grow up to 12 plants per household. That's double or even triple the limit of most other legal states. When it comes to having a medical card and having increased plant counts, the card itself does not actually increase your personal limit. But here's the kicker. Patients can designate caregivers. And that's pretty unique because it's not often that you see a situation where the patients actually designate or pick the caregivers. The patients basically decide who they want to grow their stuff for them. Now, when it comes to the caregivers themselves, each caregiver can grow for up to 5 patients with 12 plants per patient. That means that one caregiver can legally manage up to 72 plants. That's practically a small farm, and legally. Now, when it comes to culture and enforcement, Michigan has embraced the good herb in a big way. From Detroit to Ann Arbor to rural towns, home grows are everywhere. Law enforcement rarely hassles compliant growers. Now, when it comes to Michigan's climate, outdoor growing is still possible, though the shorter summers make indoor cultivation a lot more reliable. Still, though, the generous plant counts make up for any climate challenges that you may face. Now, a lot of folks consider Michigan to be one of the best states when it comes to the good herb. So why does Michigan sit at number 2 on this list? Well, between the 12-plant household cap and the caregiver program, Michigan is definitely one of the most empowering states for home growers. It's not just legal over there, it's practical, profitable, and supported all by the culture. And at number 1, the top spot goes to Missouri. Now, when it comes to home grows, with a personal cultivation card, adults can grow 6 flowering plants, 6 non-flowering plants, and 6 clones. That's 18 plants per person, and they're all categorized. Now, I gotta be honest, I'm not a big fan of the fact that you need to hold a valid consumer personal cultivation license issued by the state to actually grow at home, but some of the benefits actually are really great. When it comes to the medical card benefits, patients can stack their rights, sometimes literally doubling the plant count depending on your medical needs. And when it comes to caregivers, Missouri allows caregivers to grow for multiple patients, and each patient's allowance stacks. That means serious plant counts are possible under caregiver status. Now, Missouri quickly embraced the good herb after legalization. Home growing is seen as a normal part of the industry, not something shady or fringe at all. And for lots of growers, when it comes to climate, Missouri's long summers and warm weather are great for outdoor grows, especially for some of those longer stretchy sativas that leave a little bit more time to finish. So it might be shocking to some of you guys, but Missouri takes the top spot on this list. Missouri has clear, generous, and structured laws that favor both recreational and medical growers. And on top of that, add in clones, caregivers' rights, and a supportive culture, and it's hands down the best state in America for home growers. Now, I promised you guys that we had some honorable mentions, and first up is California. California is a mecca, one of the first states to legalize, and the laws are pretty strong. Adults can grow 6 plants per person. When it comes to medical patients in California, in some counties, medical patients can request much higher limits if their doctor recommends it. Now, the culture is strong in California. The gut herb is huge there, but local restrictions are a big problem. Many counties ban outdoor grows, and enforcement can still be strict depending on where you live. So when it comes to Cali, they've got an amazing climate and a great culture, but those inconsistent local rules knock it out of the top 5.
Said you
Now,
can't
our
grow
second
outside
honorable
though,
mention
huh?
has got to go to Oregon. They've got some really solid laws, and adults can grow 6 plants per person. When it comes to medical patients, they can grow even more, sometimes up to 6 mature and 12 immature plants with proper authorization. Now, the culture is great. Oregon has one of the most cannabis-friendly communities in the entire country, and home growers are everywhere. So the verdict is great culture, but the low adult use cap just keeps it outside of the top 5 for this list. Now, we've got to give an honorable mention to Massachusetts. Home grow laws over there are pretty strong, as adults can grow 6 plants per person, up to 12 plants per household. But when it comes to medical patients, they can also apply for an increased plant count if their medical needs justify it. Now, the culture for home grows in Massachusetts is strong. A lot of folks out there are literally growing tons of good herb. The market is booming, and home growing is respected, but the caregiver rules are not as generous as in Michigan or somewhere like Maine. So the final verdict when it comes to home grows over in Massachusetts is that they have solid home grow laws, but less flexible than the states that already made the list. Now, this is less of an honorable mention and more of an explanation, because New Mexico is a solid contender. Their adult use laws are pretty strong. In New Mexico, adults over 21 can legally grow 6 mature plants and 6 immature plants per person. If there are multiple folks in your household, you're at a max of 12 mature and 12 immature. Now, you may be thinking to yourself that those plant count limits sound awesome, but there's a catch. While the plant count in New Mexico does sound pretty solid, the 12 plant max per household puts it closer to Colorado, and Massachusetts is still behind places like Michigan and Missouri in terms of flexibility. And let me explain. Firstly, in New Mexico, there's no caregiver advantage. Unlike places like Maine, Michigan, and Missouri, New Mexico does not have strong caregiver laws that allow you to grow significantly more plants for multiple patients. There's also a bit of a medical overlap. Medical
It's the
card holders do
caregiving.
not really gain much more than recreational growers. That lack of a boost hurts its ranking compared to states where medical status really matters. So basically, you're registering with state government
tell
to
you,
get
boy,
a
you gotta
medical
get your
card, but the
medical
benefits
over
that you
rec.
get are not much better than recreational benefits. So what's the point? Now, don't get me wrong. The culture in New Mexico is awesome. It's definitely a great
What
state
up,
for
Seymour? Good
personal
to
home
see you. How you
grows.
doing?
You can legally cultivate
Hopefully y'all
more than
having
you
a nice
can in
day
places like California
today.
and Oregon, but it just does not have the stacked benefits when it comes to caregiver laws, higher plant counts, or medical extensions that push Michigan, Missouri, and Maine into the top 5. So there you have it, the top 5 states in America for home growers, with Missouri taking the #1 spot thanks to its generous cultivation card and caregiver laws. So what do you think? Would you rather live in a state with higher plant counts or in a state with a lenient culture and easy enforcement? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I love hearing from you guys. Now, if you enjoyed the video, smash that like and drop it in the comments down below and let me know what you think are the top 5 states
You already know I
for
had to
home
keep it
gardeners.
popping on a
I'm really
Wednesday,
interested to
Skelly.
find out what you
Had to
guys
come
gotta
up with
say.
some good
Now,
ones.
this may have gone under the radar.
That first video
Recently,
I
we
did was
exposed a
kind of
state
boring,
which
but it was
tracking
actually
home growers,
nice.
keeping
You
all their
know,
information on a registry.
they had dropped like a butt ton of popcorn off in the forest. Yeah, that was a cool little video because then you got to see all the wild animals coming up and enjoying popcorn. So, you know, go back if you just got here, right? Right. If not, catch it on a full replay. Hey, you know how popcorn is. Hell, leave a playlist running.
If you haven't seen that video, check it out because it's coming up right now.
Everybody in New York was calling to get down with Mr. Nice Guy. We met all kinds of customers, like this guy here. He's what we call an enhancement smoker, because
He thinks that marijuana makes every activity that much better.
Casa su casa.
Observe.
You're Scarface, right?
Yeah.
I love Al Pacino, man. Did you ever see Son of a Woman?
Yup.
Alright,
You
so
ever
good to
Son
see
of
you.
a Woman on weed? That's the way to see it, man. It's just whack.
$60, yo.
Cool, man. I got it. Did you ever see the back of a $20 bill, man?
No, I don't know, yo.
Did you ever see the back of a $20
I
bill?
don't know, yo. How you not know, nigga?
Weed.
Either you seen the back of a $20 bill or you haven't.
There's a dude sitting in the bushes, man. Does he have a gun?
I don't know,
man.
what?
I don't know. What? Red team go. Red team go. It's just some weird shit, man.
Man, you fucking crazy, yo.
Oh, it's cool. Thanks, man. Hey, yo, wait. Dude, I'm gonna check out the stars later. It's really trippy. Especially on weed, man.
Scarface said, let me hurry up and get the fuck up out of here, man. He gonna have me answering questions about weed all
Federal
day.
agents just stormed a Missouri dim sum restaurant at dawn.
Federal
Oh,
agents
Lord.
raided Golden Apple Buffet here in St. Peter's
St.
off
Peter's.
Mexico Road Tuesday. Federal agents had also stormed 2 suburban homes where neighbors reported about 20 people living inside.
Next thing you know, this snowballed into a nationwide ICE raid on Chinese communities, exposing visa fraud and narcotics stashes.
Where you from?
India.
India.
China.
China.
Yeah.
China. China.
China.
Yolian Ye, along with the indictment of another 56-year-old named Dae Jin Ye. Both face up to 10 years in prison and fines up to $250,000.
What ICE uncovered inside
know
those
they ain't
kitchens
collecting
was
them
way more
fines.
than illegal aliens.
I'm
They
going to jail.
forged passports, narcotics bricks disguised as soy sauce shipments, and a smuggling network stretching from Houston all the way back to Beijing. Tonight, we're going deep inside Operation Silent Dragon and why Chinese restaurants became the front line in Trump's biggest immigration crackdown yet. The first viral clip came from a Chinatown street in California. A Chinese man was pinned against a wall by 2 women in plain clothes and screamed for help as 2 masked men closed in. Within seconds, he was shoved into a waiting car. Online captions claimed at least 5 ICE agents were involved, all undercover, with their faces covered. It set the tone. This was not business as usual. Around the same time, the now viral exchange hit the internet.
Where you from?
India.
India.
China.
China.
Yeah.
China.
By the end of that day, dozens of workers in Chinatown were zip-tied and shoved into white vans. Homeland Security didn't
Damn.
waste time spinning it. Officials confirmed multiple fake IDs and visa overstays tied to the raid.
According to reports in recent immigration reinforcement actions in several cities in Southern California,
And you know
a
you gotta
number
watch
of
out for that
agents were
China
not
man,
wearing
boy. They got
uniforms and
that
had
pack
their
out there
faces
these
covered.
days.
A tactic known as undercover
Knowing they
operations
selling the most
targeting
illegal
immigrants
drugs
in
here.
the US.
Local reporters said this wasn't random at all.
So
Raids
the
like
Mexican
these were part of a
cartels ain't got
coordinated
shit on the
national
Chinese
campaign.
grow
And ICE
houses.
says it's not just about sending illegal migrants back home.
The Chinese and Mexican drug rings are taking over the illegal marijuana industry. That's according to the latest report from the Drug Enforcement Administration.
Yeah, what looks like innocent people getting violently arrested can have a terrifying backstory. Days later, federal agents tore into the floorboards of another restaurant and uncovered stashes of drugs and evidence of a pipeline feeding U.S. streets straight from Chinese networks overseas. When ICE dug deeper, the real machinery of cartel fraud came out of the shadows. Chinatown freezers and storerooms weren't just for food. They were hiding stacks of fake IDS, driver's licenses, and passports. And the problem is, it's been happening for years.
Neither the original intelligence coming in from the informant or the subsequent seizure of 20,000 fake driver's licenses from Hong Kong and China got the FBI off its stuff.
The feds had been tracking Chinese criminal networks in the U.S. for years, trying to seize fake IDs and visas, and any drug trafficking networks tied to these. But it was only under Trump's brutal ICE
Thousands
crackdown
of fake
that more of these
IDs,
networks
damn.
started making the news, because now they're getting arrested at an unprecedented pace.
Not far from Interstate 70, near the Cave Springs exit, is a restaurant so popular, people have been constantly pulling up while we've been here. Federal agents raided Golden Apple Buffet here in St. Peter's off Mexico Road
They
Tuesday.
done
On
got
September
busted.
2nd, ICE
The
raided a
news
Golden Apple
crew's still
buffet
out
in
there. People
Missouri.
still
While
pulling
ICE
up.
was
Like,
there, several people arrived to dine at the buffet and were surprised to find out what was happening at their favorite restaurant.
I seen you guys, so I knew it was a problem.
It was raided
Raided for what?
by federal agents.
So they put some
ICE.
illegals in there, huh?
Maybe.
That same day, ICE
she already
arrived
knew
at
there was
2
some
more
illegals in that
doorsteps, all
motherfucker. She
tied
ain't
to
even
the
had to
Chinese
ask.
community in
Well,
St.
what
Peters,
was they
Missouri.
doing? Oh, they's illegals. You
It was
already
just
know.
one of at least 3 St. Peter's locations raided by the feds. This is viewer video. Federal agents raiding a property with reported workers inside.
Inside those
Somebody
homes,
got to do
as
their
many
damn
as 20
job, right?
workers, the same ones neighbors say they'd seen shuttled daily to the buffet in vans.
Neighbors said they witnessed as many as 20 people inside this home detained Tuesday. People they had seen being bussed to the restaurant in the past.
And it wasn't just one property. Another house tied to the restaurant's registered agent, a Chinese national, was also raided.
St. Charles County property records show the home is owned by Ye Investment One LLC. The owner of a home on Park Charles Boulevard in unincorporated St. Charles County is listed as Ye Investment 2 LLC, which the FBI also raided Tuesday.
This was structured, and it had been operating for years. Agents
Ye.
revealed some of the
That is
forgeries
not
were so
Kanye,
sophisticated,
okay?
they slipped past state DMVS and banks. And it wasn't just
That is
about
not
fake
Kanye
IDs for
West,
1 or 2
okay?
workers. These documents
That is
greased
the
the
other
wheels
Ye
for illegal
family.
work, human smuggling rings, and even laundering money into Chinese-owned businesses across the U.S.
Hey,
One
that's
lawyer
good
called
business
it
though,
a
man. They
shadow
putting everybody
DMV
on.
running under the radar of American cities. ICE officials backed it up with staggering figures.
In the first 6 months of 2025, 103 Chinese citizens were arrested. In just 3 weeks, arrests of Chinese illegal migrants increased tenfold year on year.
The fact that so many restaurants were tied into this caught people off guard. Because if your local buffet or dim sum spot could double as a document mill, then nothing was off limits. And if suburban homes in Missouri looked like this, what would investigators find inside nightclubs and warehouses on the other side of the country? The answer was even wilder. As the raids widened, ICE discovered the trail didn't stop at buffets. It stretched into the nightlife economy, karaoke bars, movie theaters, and unlicensed nightclubs. These weren't just party spots, they were fronts.
New at 11, a Homeland Security investigation bust in Los Angeles. According to a post on X, 36 Chinese and Taiwanese nationals were arrested for being illegally present in the United States. Video shows them here detained,
Illegally
handcuffed, and
present.
being
Man.
loaded onto van.
That
ICE
means you
agents
here,
said
but
these
you ain't
clubs
supposed
are
to be
linked
here,
directly
bucko.
to trafficking routes running through Mexico. Workers were packed into residential homes owned by LLCS and shuttled in vans like property.
We also noticed 5 cars in the driveway, all with out-of-state plates, all from different states.
Many of these workers were earning cash wages far below minimum, and they were stuck in endless debt to the same smugglers and brokers who brought them over. It kept them dependent, unable to leave, and too scared to ever speak out. This is why these workers are not the real villains ICE is after. It's their smugglers who get all the money and bring suffering and narcotics to their communities. ICE and the FBI said the profits weren't just local. Underground banks were moving millions monthly. Reportedly, these banks operate with a service fee of 2% to 4%, with monthly transactions of hundreds of millions. Translation: a dim sum buffet in Missouri could be laundering the same cash that fueled a nightclub in LA or a construction site in New York. The networks are connected, profitable, and dangerous. The ICE raids showed organized crime sitting inside everyday storefronts. But the darkest discovery wasn't IDS or nightclubs. It was when agents found what was hiding under the kitchen floors. When agents pulled up the floorboards of one restaurant, the case flipped overnight. Beneath the tile, ICE uncovered bundles of narcotics
What up,
disguised
Liz?
as
Good to
everyday
see you.
shipments.
7 people are now
I'm
facing
gonna go
drug
check out
charges
Liz.
after a raid at a popular restaurant in the
Appreciate
city
it for
of South
stopping by.
Fulton.
Spend some
What
time
looked
with your
like
boy.
soy sauce cartons were actually fentanyl pricks, the same drug fueling America's overdose crisis. Officials warned this was proof that Chinese restaurants were doubling as stash houses. But let's be clear about one thing. Some Chinese restaurants, not all of them, and not all workers inside the restaurants are involved in the underground networks.
Tuesday's raids
Just
across
most
the
of them,
state are part
not
of
all
a
of them.
years-long investigation of restaurant ownership But immigration advocates, though, are pushing back.
Many workers, like the man violently pinned against the wall in California, may not be cartel players at all. Some are just undocumented immigrants working cash jobs. Others actually have legal status, but get caught in the dress as ICE and the DEA slam down harder on these restaurant-linked rings. Immigration advocates argue this is the danger of blanket raids. Real criminals get to hide, while regular families are shattered in the process. But if you ask the DEA, this is not the time to overthink things.
The Chinese and Mexican drug rings are taking over the illegal marijuana industry. That's according to the latest report from the Drug Enforcement Administration.
And the latest Missouri raid showed just how integrated the scheme was. Homeland Security officials said the operation wasn't just about hiring undocumented workers for cheap labor. It was about using restaurants as perfect fronts for laundering and storage. Think about it. Kitchens with constant shipments, crowded housing where nobody asks questions, and a community too afraid to speak. That's the perfect cover for narcotics smuggling. But even fentanyl bricks weren't the scariest thing agents found. In one case, investigators traced cash and communications straight back to Chinese intelligence networks. Suddenly, it was about foreign influence operating inside American cities. And when that news broke, Chinese restaurants and shops across the states went dark.
Oh, they supposed to. When you hear that, hey, we know that y'all systematically coming after us.
Tied directly to China, fear inside U.S. Chinatowns reached a whole new level.
ICE reported that a federal grand jury in Virginia indicted 2 Chinese nationals, accusing them of attempting to illegally smuggle radiation-hardened microcrystals.
This wasn't just a visa violation or a fake green card. These were defense materials, the kind used in satellites and military hardware. An August press release said 2 Chinese nationals, one of them an illegal alien, have been arrested on a federal criminal complaint alleging they knowingly exported to China tens of millions of dollars worth of sensitive microchips.
We're gonna get over here and start getting y'all money, building shit we want to build.
Immigration raids looked less like labor enforcement and more like counterintelligence. The same month, Chinese national Yun Hai Li was arrested and charged with theft of trade secrets and tampering with a government record after he smuggled sensitive U.S. medical information to China. These reports confirmed what many feared. Some Chinese-owned businesses were being used as cover for intelligence gathering. By 2024, secret police stations were already operating in U.S. cities. And here's the part these people don't think about. The fallout in Chinese communities was immediate. Chinese restaurants and markets in Los Angeles reported revenue losses up to 50% in 2025. First off, customers are avoiding areas known for raids. Secondly, ICE raids are hitting these places even harder after creepy reports like these. And on top of it all, supply chains are being disrupted. Many businesses have shut down permanently. ICE raids aren't just pulling undocumented workers. They are shaking entire communities, leaving restaurants shuttered and neighborhoods living in fear. And if communities were already this terrified, the question looming over America was even darker. What happens when deportation flights start leaving weekly with hundreds of people on board? By late summer, ICE raids weren't just shutting down buffets, they were filling charter flights.
And in Dallas, ICE agents say that they have removed 122 people who they describe as high risk and in the country illegally. In fact, they were flown aboard a charter flight to China last week.
Those images, busloads of detainees marched onto planes bound for Beijing, hit like a warning across Chinese communities. Some saw justice.
ICE Dallas says the flight included some convicted of murder, drug trafficking, bribery, as well as human smuggling.
Others, though, saw collective punishment. Beijing wasted no time blasting Washington. Officials called the raids discriminatory, accusing the U.S. of painting an entire diaspora as criminals. Meanwhile, U.S. prosecutors leaned into the opposite narrative, that these cases proved national security was at stake. At the same time, indictments tied to drug trafficking and money laundering piled up.
In June 2025, the Massachusetts Department of Justice indicted 7 Chinese nationals, including Jen Shongchen, accusing them of leading a network that laundered over 90 million yuan annually.
It showed why prosecutors kept pressing. Behind restaurants and clubs,
come on now,
moving laundering millions, and in some cases, feeding foreign intelligence. And this wasn't just LA or Missouri. The crackdown has now spread coast to coast. Each raid is blurring the line between immigration enforcement and organized crime takedowns. By September, the question wasn't whether ICE could take down these networks. It was whether America was tearing down too much. Dismantling real criminal syndicates, yes, but also alienating entire communities in the middle of a geopolitical storm with Beijing. And that's the fight now. Is this a nation finally defending its borders, or is it a crackdown that could spiral into something far more explosive?
Huh? Like we ain't been too relaxed around here. Peaceful times, right? Peaceful times.
Hope you don't mind. We made some tea.
What'd he say? He already had the gun to your head. That's what he said.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the bloke you're stealing from. The name's Alistair Rigby, but as far as you're concerned, I'm Willy fucking Wonka, and you're taking a shit in my fucking chocolate factory. Easy, boss. Don't get upset. When I have to go to the dentist, I'm upset. When Liverpool beats Arsenal, I'm upset. But when some little shit decides to take over one of the most profitable territories in the country, I'm beyond fucking upset. I'm very fucking upset. So, from now on, you're under new management. You will work for me, and in return, you'll receive an allowance.
Allowance?
Yes, allowance. As in, I'm allowing you to keep 10%, and I'm allowing you to keep drawing breath on this earth. Now, you either get down, or you lay down. What's it gonna be, sunshine?
This wasn't no movie. The smart thing was to say yes, get up, and leave the room. But then I thought to myself, what if this was a movie? Look,
got
fuck
turned
you,
up.
fuck the plane you flew in on, fuck them shoes, fuck those socks with the bell on it, fuck your gay-ass fairy faggot accent, fuck them cheap-ass cigars, fuck your yuck-mouth teeth, fuck your hairpiece, fuck your chocolate, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck Prince William, fuck the Queen. This is America. My president is black and my Lambo is blue, nigga. Now get the fuck out my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
I think this one spent too much time at the cinema. Teach this cheeky bastard a lesson.
Nobody fucking move!
Oh man, this is bad.
What is this? A casting call for the Sopranos reunion? Do me a favour. Tell room service nobody here ordered the extra large whop with a side order of wops.
Whoa!
Hey, he said point and click. We're gonna send him right where he needed to go. Fuck up out of here.
So massive news broke recently confirming something that lots of us already know. Censorship is real, and it's even worse in our community when it comes to the good herb. But amid the recent Jimmy Kimmel suspension, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Meta have all admitted to censoring Americans' free speech, terminating accounts, and wiping people off of their platform, all at the request of the government, specifically the Democrats and the Biden administration. And these have ranged from political views to medical opinions and, of course, herb-related content.
Free speech is returning after some serious Biden-era censorship. Google is bringing back YouTube accounts banned for political speech and so-called misinformation. It's the latest tech giant to admit that the Biden administration was pressuring that company to remove certain content and other companies. Google sent a letter to House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan stating that White House officials, including Biden himself, created a political atmosphere in order to dictate how it moderated content. That sounds like a command and control situation over there at Google. Was it? Here's constitutional attorney Jonathan Turley.
There was extensive censorship, not just on COVID issues, but other issues. Even jokes were being censored at the demand of the Biden administration officials. And this is part of censorship. It creates an insatiable desire and appetite. And these companies found themselves overwhelmed. It snowballed.
The Wall Street editorial board with a headline, "When the Left Censored Speech." Full stop. Yeah, exactly. Here's part of the article. The outrage flowed righteously on the left when the Trump administration pressured private companies to suspend anti-Trump television host Jimmy Kimmel. The Biden arm twisting was more insidious because it stayed out of public view. Perhaps the White House had a guilty conscience, though more likely it didn't want voters to know. Wasn't that interesting?
So this is something that a lot of people who operate in the can industry are familiar with. Censorship, Instagram accounts being deleted, pages being taken down. You wake up one morning and all of a sudden your account's gone and you're disappeared from cyberspace. Now we all know how frustrating it can be when you wake up, like I said, and your Instagram page is gone. All the hard work and all the time, effort, the memories, the content, the photos, the videos, everything is just gone. It's wiped. And this is really big news because a lot of people know and have a feeling, a strong suspicion that Instagram, Meta, all these platforms have been censoring their speech. And like I said, it's not just political speech or medical speech, but also a lot of things that have to do with the good herb.
Okay, TikTok, listen up. If we're not going to let medicine being shown, cannabis smoke, nothing else, no paraphernalia, nothing else, but we're going to let a crack pipe be shown, a cigar be shown, and bottles of alcohol, what the is wrong with you?
And that's something we see right here on YouTube, Instagram. We see it all the time. Tons of things that are literally super harmful, actually harmful. But if I post a plant that just naturally grows like that, you're gonna be in trouble with YouTube. Now the thing is, the double standards are crazy. If you compare the good herb to things like alcohol, those alcohol are shown all the time without censorship. And this is not limited only to YouTube, because according to this article, Snapchat AI also blocked while providing info on alcohol and Delta-8. And according to this article, and I quote, when asked about the good herb or THC, the AI feature blocked the responses and included this note. Sorry, I can't help with that. If you're looking for something else, feel free to ask. Drug use can seriously damage your health and have legal consequences. I got some helpful resources handy for you to check out. So when you guys think we're just fighting against lawmakers, politicians, some of those old school reefer madness baby boomers, that's not the case. We're also fighting against big tech, the platform giants that are literally trying to censor anything that has to do with the good herb, or if they just don't agree with your point of view, your perspective, or your political opinion, which is absolutely mind-blowing and a violation of free speech.
House Republicans putting in writing what they've asserted all along, that the Biden White House used its position and its power to launch a campaign of censorship, coercing companies like Facebook, which is owned by Meta, and Twitter, as it was then called, Google, and Amazon, to remove or restrict content posted online.
It was the White House on January 23rd, 2021, saying take down the tweet. And the tweet, there was nothing false in the tweet. And guess who the tweet was from? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The third day of this administration, they're trying to censor their Democrat primary opponent.
So you guys seen that. It's not just small creators, home growers, home gardeners, or just people that they don't like. They also go after some of these political figures or figures that just have a massive following and a voice. RFK Jr. is just one example of that, but let's hear what he had to say about it all.
37 hours after he took the oath of office, President Biden's White House opened up a portal for the FBI to begin to have access to social media posts on all the different social media sites. And the FBI then invited in the CIA, the DHS, the IRS, and CISA. CISA is this new agency that is the center of the censorship industrial complex that is in charge of making sure Americans don't hear things that their government doesn't want them to hear. And those agencies and other agencies, including the health agencies like CDC, were given access to go into the social media sites and change posts and slow walk things and shadow ban posts. That it was part of that effort. They removed my Instagram account. I had almost 1 million followers. They say it was for misinformation, but they could not point to a single post that I ever made that was factually erroneous. And they actually, Facebook pushed back in the email. You see Facebook pushing back at the White House and saying, well, wait a minute, he's not, this isn't misinformation. This is not factually erroneous. What they're saying is actually true. And they had to invent a new word, which is called malinformation, which is information that is factually true, but nevertheless inconvenient for the government. And that became disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. That's what that is.
Now guys, just let that sink in. Creating new words for information that you don't like. It's factually correct information, but information that you perceive as inconvenient or uncomfortable to hear the truth of. That's malinformation.
Damn,
now I
you
want to
should
show
be able
you
to tell the
guys
judge
just
something
how
like that.
far and how deep this actually
That's a
goes.
mal law
Because it's not
that
only
doesn't apply to me because I don't feel like it was written for my
individuals
benefit.
with massive followings, but also entire news organizations that were facing
If I'm out here
censorship from
robbing
some of these
people, how am I
big
gonna
tech
benefit from a law that
Here's a
stops me
perfect
from robbing
example
people?
of the Hill. Check it out.
With this similar admission about the harms caused by the COVID policy, YouTube is now welcoming all creators terminated under the policies back to the platform. Come on in, the water's fine. Now, lest you think that means a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists, that's who's coming back, right? That's anybody who got kicked off. Well, consider this. Now, longtime viewers probably remember, but this channel, what you're watching right now, The Hill, was previously suspended for a week for allegedly breaking a rule that YouTube now admits was wrong. What am I talking about? Well, in March 2022, we were informed that we had violated an election integrity policy by posting allegedly false information about the 2020 election, because we played video footage on the show, this show, of Trump saying that the election was stolen. We didn't say the election was stolen. We didn't endorse that view. We just reported the fact that Trump had said it. Think how crazy that is. Under YouTube's previous policy, they couldn't distinguish, or were unwilling to distinguish, between Trump saying something and a news channel reporting that he had said something.
So from that clip, you guys can see it's a massive problem. When a lot of these big tech platforms are actually censoring news channels and news outlets and calling the information that they're reporting on misinformation and harmful, then we have a problem, guys. Now, I just want to draw a distinction real quick, because this is definitely what I perceive to be an attack on free speech. Censoring Americans who post on Facebook, individual opinions expressed on platforms. I get it that some of these opinions definitely need to accord with your guidelines. But if your guidelines are so strict or just being warped to the point where anything can be deemed as a violation of those community guidelines, then what's the point of free speech? This video is brought to you by VivoSun, the brand trusted by home growers across the world. Whether you need tents, lights, carbon filters, or complete grow kits, VivoSun has you covered with gear that's reliable and affordable and built to help your plants thrive. I've been using their products myself, and they make it easy to grow smarter, not harder. So if you want to upgrade your grow setup, check out VivoSun. They are the home grower's choice for everything green. Use code ICANTHC to get a discount on all VivoSun gear, including the new smart lights, grow camera, and the under canopy lights. Now, we started off the show mentioning Jimmy Kimmel, and personally, I'm not a fan of some of those late night TV shows. I'm not a fan of Jimmy Kimmel, and I don't watch any of his stuff. But there are a lot of people who actually expressed a lot of concern about that, saying that that's censorship. And there were even some folks saying that that was the worst example of censorship that we've ever seen. Now, I would have to disagree with that, because if you got a job and you're working for an employer as an employee, in those situations, your contract of employment would often have terms and conditions. And if one of those terms and conditions is that you don't say anything that can bring the reputation of the employer into disrepute, then that may be a ground for dismissal. And in the situation where Jimmy Kimmel was clearly trying to take a rip at half of America, that is definitely a ground for suspension. And that's exactly what happened when he got suspended. Now, there was tons of backlash from that, but what I found is pretty interesting is that there was not tons of backlash when the news broke that Google was censoring Americans' free speech under the Biden administration. And that's exactly the point which is raised in this next clip. Have a look.
Here's how he addressed the comments responsible for getting him yanked off the air.
It was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it. I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual.
And even if he has their authentic emotion, doesn't protect him from his lies. It was his intention to suggest the killer came from half of America. And those lies continued last night. This was never about a joke, Jimmy. This was about the lie you used to set up the joke, suggesting that Charlie Kirk's assassin came from within MAGA. CNN's Jake Tapper looked at this entire affair involving Jimmy Kimmel and called it the worst violation of free speech in his lifetime.
I thought it was pretty much the most direct infringement by the government on free speech that I've seen in my lifetime. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what Tapper might have seen over the course of his some 60-odd years, but I could really survey this landscape over the course of, say, 24 hours. The day that he there was on a late night program, because it was the very same day that Google admitted that they were censoring content at the behest of the Biden administration. Here's what Google had to say. The tech giant revealed the Biden administration pressured them to censor everyday Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube's policies. The company also telling lawmakers public debate should never come at the expense of relying on authorities and pledging to never use third-party fact checkers as well to reinstate impacted accounts.
Now that right there is a massive distinction, guys. There's a clear difference between someone who expresses their opinion on a platform and is censored by that platform simply because they did not agree with that perspective versus someone who says something to bring their reputation of their employer into disrepute. Let me break this down in a way that you guys can understand. If I'm just sitting out at home and I post something on Instagram, this is my opinion based on what I've seen back in the COVID era. And for that, I am censored. My account is deleted and all that stuff. Or if I just happen to post a picture of a plant and then my account's gone. That's censorship. That's stuffing the free speech down the drain. And that's completely different from someone losing their job because they violated their terms of employment.
We still have to view this in its totality. There was an unprecedented continuous engagement between the administration and social media companies to address not only categories of speech, but specific individuals, specific content, and specific viewpoints. The sheer quantity has a quality all of its own. The administration performed this unprecedented level of continuous engagement at several levels. The FBI, the CDC, Department of Homeland Security, essentially every single alphabet soup agency, the White House. And that's not even taking into account the State Department funding a nonprofit whose goal was to censor such radical media as the Federalist, Reason, and the New York Post. In one instance, the White House staffer Rob Flaherty sent this
That's the exact same reason why you need to go ahead and sue these motherfuckers. They just admitted on the fucking news that, yeah, the Biden administration had his fucking people's accounts up. So if you one of them people, holla at your lawyer. I mean, he should already be trying to contact you. Hell, what the fuck lawyer you got? If your lawyer don't call you letting you know, hey, you finna get some money. What do you mean I'm finna get some money? Well, didn't you hear what the fuck they said? Yeah, you gotta get you one of them type of lawyers. If you ain't got one of them type of lawyers that'll let you know you getting some money because he know you finna pay him. Like, nah, you'll pay me for it. Just don't even worry about it. I'll make sure you get 34 billion or better, and I want a couple M with millions or better. Hell.
Message to Google. This is a concern that is shared at the highest level, and I mean the highest levels of the White House. He's talking about the President of the United States. And this is coming from an administration that has supported and advanced several policies directly targeting the business models of social media companies. Antitrust enforcement, Section 230, encryption, and the list goes on and on.
So in a situation where free speech is being stifled, accounts are being deleted, what are you supposed to do? You gotta play by their rules. Now, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg actually spoke about this, so let's hear exactly what he had to say.
Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg admitting he bowed to pressure from the Biden administration to censor content. Zuckerberg saying, I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. Adding, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again. President Biden was asked about misinformation online in the summer of 2021.
On COVID misinformation, what's your message to platforms like Facebook?
They're killing people. I mean, it really, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated. and they're killing people.
And now they're bringing back some of these accounts that were actually deleted for quite some time. Check it out.
Google announcing it will reinstate YouTube channels that were permanently banned for political speech, saying it was pressured by the Biden administration to remove content that did not even violate YouTube's policies. In a letter to the House Judiciary Committee, a lawyer for Google said, quote, it is unacceptable and wrong when any government, including the Biden administration, attempts to dictate how the company moderates content, and the company has consistently fought against those efforts on First Amendment grounds. Journalist and author Alex Berenson is suing the Biden administration now after he was banned from Twitter in 2021 for violating the platform's COVID-19 misinformation guidelines, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Alex.
Ainsley, good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on to talk about this. It's remarkable. Big tech, social media companies censoring people because of pressure from the Biden administration. Do you feel vindicated now that they're admitting this?
Well, I do feel vindicated. Jim Jordan has been doing a lot of work on this for a long time, and he's gotten documents out, but it's really nice to see Google come out and admit this. As you know, some of your viewers may know, in 2021, One, I sued Twitter and forced them to let me back on the platform before Elon Musk bought it. So that was a small win for free speech. But right now, yes, I'm in the middle of suing the Biden administration, which obviously is not in power anymore, over what they did to force Twitter to lock me out, to suspend my account in 2021. And I'm glad to see this admission. My case is sort of at an interesting moment because the Trump administration really has to decide if they want to defend the Biden administration's censorship going forward. Obviously, I'm hoping they're not going to do that.
Now, that guy may have enough money to be able to sue the Biden administration, but a lot of people don't, and they simply don't have the resources to go against big tech and try to get their accounts back. Even if they send emails, reach out to chat support, hit them up on Twitter, they're probably not going to get that account back. And even amid promises by Google to bring back some of these creators' YouTube accounts, it turns out that some of them were brought back, but then they were swiftly removed right after that. And that actually led Vivek Ramaswamy to send a public message to YouTube calling for them to return, but also calling for him to stop the censorship.
This is a message for the leadership of YouTube. Frankly, I probably could have called you privately, but I think it's better to just talk about this in the open on this particular issue. My understanding is in the last 24 hours, you locked the accounts and shut down the accounts of two guys, Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. They have big followings on the American right. I think it's better if you just unlock those accounts and let the guys be heard. And I say this not because I'm some particular fan or vice versa. At least one of them, Nick, is probably not a particularly big fan of mine. No more than Jimmy Kimmel is, by the way, for very different reasons. That's beside the point. It doesn't matter.
These creators were deleted by YouTube some time back, but upon the admission by Google, their accounts were reinstated, but only for a short while because they were quickly deleted again. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy goes on to explain a few different distinctions, and I think this is key. So have a look at this, guys.
About whether somebody says a particular thing that you think doesn't belong on your platform. That's one category of speech moderation. There's a different category of saying that you may demonetize certain people. You're not going to pay them. That even if they're able to speak on your platform, it's not necessarily their right to be paid for doing so or putting advertisers next to their name. That's a separate discussion. Personally, I don't like any of those forms of speech suppression as a general matter, but at least those are discussions that reasonable minds can have. There's a whole separate third category of censorship, though, that I think is particularly harmful, which is the idea that just because of who you are, your name and who you are, you don't get to express any idea, whether it's misinformation, hateful speech, whether it's dangerous or whatever you deem it to be. Irrespective of that, you're not making that judgment. Just based on who you are, you don't get to speak. I think that breeds mistrust. I don't think that's good for our country.
And I would have to agree with that, guys. A lot of folks have a lot of mistrust when it comes to these big platforms. A lot of folks in the community are not happy because they're always at risk of being taken down. And that's something that we've even seen on YouTube, where in certain countries they'll actually block any cancer-related content. And that's something that a creator actually made a video about recently, so let's show you guys a quick clip.
Why is the most popular video on cannabis on YouTube for the month of October no longer available to large parts of the global population? Well, we're referring to the cannabis question that featured by PBS Nova, specifically at the end of September, and garnered over 1 million views in a very short period of time. This was a great documentary. I enjoyed sharing it. However, we can see in the timeline that it's no longer available. Essentially, we're stuck with mosquitoes and hurricanes, and even reference is made to the cannabis question in newer clips on the channel. Now, the question is, was this done by PBS intentionally or by YouTube, where it was restricted in certain areas? We do know that we can access the video. We have included the link in the description via a VPN in the United States still. However, this does raise a concern for me, which is, why is it that such a good documentary, such a high-quality documentary, is no longer available
I'm still doing my video, bye.
Now, if you've noticed or watched this documentary and it's no longer available in your region, can I please ask that you add that to the comments so we can see how extensive the censorship of this documentary has been?
And that's a documentary put out by PBS, a literal documentary, guys, and YouTube is blocking it in certain countries. If you're in the US, you may be able to see it, but if you're outside of the US, in a lot of countries, it's actually blocked. Now, just to show you guys how crazy it is when it comes to censorship and the good herb, I'm going to show you guys a few clips which scream reefer madness, banned from the Super Bowl. Let's check it out.
Stay off the weed!
Marijuana's only safer because potheads still live with their overprotective mother.
Well, pot is inert, but we've used it to enable our sloth.
Drunks have roommates and cokeheads have their own place. That's basically how you break it down.
There's tobacco and marijuana in there. That's all it is.
So is it time to admit that legalized pot in the whole experiment has failed?
For some, the commercials are the best part of Super Bowl Sunday, but one controversial ad will not be seen this year.
This ad, released by Acreage Holdings, a cannabis company in the U.S., displays a son's constant seizures, a man's complications from prescribed opioids, post-triple back surgery, and an amputee military veteran.
Medical cannabis saved Austin's life.
Cannabis has given me my life back.
Sacrificed so much for this country, have access to the safest treatment possible. This really is an injustice.
Legalization is prevalent in 33 states, including the District of Columbia. The NFL rejected the ad, stating CBS will not be accepting any ads for medical marijuana at this time.
So even an ad for medical herbs showing the benefits when it comes to some of these products, they were like, no, we don't want that at all. Let's get that off of this platform. And the double standards and hypocrisy is crazy, because if there was an ad from Big Pharma, they would 100% run that and run the money into the business as well. Now, a lot of businesses also face issues when it comes to advertising, especially relating to the good herb. And that's something we're seeing down in Indiana, where they passed a law to ban any advertising for herbs.
Some new legislation. Indiana lawmakers are officially banning any advertising for marijuana in the state of Indiana. The private use of marijuana is legal in Michigan, Ohio, and Illinois, so often pot businesses advertise in Indiana to draw customers over the border. The ban applies to billboards and other signs posted along highways and other forms of advertising, including flyers many people receive in their mailboxes.
Now, let me know what you guys think about all this. Drop it in the comments down below. Really interested to find out what you guys think about the censorship issue, especially when it comes to the good herb. Drop it down there. I'm really interested to find out what you guys got to say. And if you ever had an Instagram page, Facebook page, YouTube page, delete it, drop it down there as well and let me know. Now, I know a lot of you guys that tune into this channel are home gardeners, and there's one state that's actually tracking home gardeners and putting all of their information on a registry. So if you haven't seen it, check that video because it's coming up right now.
Hey, bro, which city would you live in? Gotham City or Metropolis? That's easy. Gotham City. What? Why Gotham City? Because think about it like this. Most of the problems you'll run into in Gotham, especially the villains, can easily be dealt with by keeping a strap on you. No, that's a lie. I don't believe that. Bro, the only people you really have to worry about is Clayface, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Bane, and Killer Croc. Everybody else is fair game. Because I know for a fact, Joker, Penguin, Harvey Dent, Scarecrow, and everybody else in this motherfucker is not bulletproof. I know that shit for a fact. I mean, you do have a point on that. But Metropolis, hell no, you'll die within the first week. I mean, if Superman is in Metropolis, doesn't that count for anything? And look at Superman Rogues Gallery. Metallo, Atomic Skull, Lex Luthor, Brainiac. Last time I checked, a lot of these motherfuckers are bulletproof. The fuck is a gun gonna do to that shit? That is true. Exactly, so I'll take my chances in Gotham City, bitch.
Said you had to be a smart motherfucker to take out Clark Kent. But
Zaza knowledge, Mary Jane truths, high IQ data that you've never heard before. But not to worry, because today we are uncovering facts about the magic green plant that everybody, for the sake of safety, education, and science, should know. Because I am always here to inform the public about the risks, cons, the good, the bad, and everything in between about the grass. And with that, you will have a better understanding of what the green plant really is and how it can affect you both positively and negatively. So if you are ready to sit back and learn about some wild facts in an educational way, like how the US government has a secret Zaza farm, or maybe in case you ever find yourself chilling playing video games and one of your friends pulls up like, yo bro, I just got these fresh mangoes, they taste really good, wanna have some? I don't know, I mean I already ate some banana. Okay, I get it, you're refusing the last grown mangoes of my dead grandma. Her last wish was that we may enjoy them together. Eat the damn mangoes if it'll show you up, man.
20 minutes later.
Damn, those mangoes really were good.
Yup. And now for dessert. Your turn.
Well, I do have work in 2 hours, but okay.
What's a couple puffs from a J really gonna do?
Oh my, why am I so faded?
It's the mangoes, bro. They contain the same terpene myrcene that's in the J. That's why the za hit you so fast and hard. This was always my plan. So, what we playing? I'm guessing you're calling in sick from work.
From long-standing stone prophecies
Hell
like
no.
eat a mango
Getting my
40
ass
minutes
going
before
to work.
lighting
I don't
up
know
to
what the fuck
increase
you
your
talking about.
fade, to the U.S. government's secret peach farm, we have a lot of Zaza facts
Yeah,
lined
we
up
don't miss
that'll
work for
change
that
your
reason.
life. Okay, well, maybe not that,
I'm
but
too high to
anyway,
go
first
in.
up, grass bends your perception of time. Lettuce has this unique ability to bend time. Not like interstellar or wormhole physics, more like your brain suddenly hired the most unreliable intern to keep track of the clock. Here's what's actually happening. THC binds to CB1 receptors in your brain, especially in areas like the cerebellum, basal ganglia, and prefrontal cortex. These regions don't just help with movement and decision making, they also play a key role in how we measure time internally. Normally, your brain has a nice steady rhythm for counting seconds and minutes, but when THC hijacks those receptors, that rhythm slows down. The result? Your perception of time stretches out. 10 minutes can feel like half an hour, a short song feels like a symphony, and waiting for the pizza delivery guy feels like you're aging in real time. You might check your phone, think hours have passed, only to find out it's been 4 minutes, and you've already rewatched the same TikTok 3 times. It's not that the outside world is moving slower, everyone else is still living in regular time. It's just that your brain stopwatch is now on stoner time, which is about as reliable as a 5 a.m. alarm when you could technically sleep till 7, which we all love sleeping in until you finally wake up, check the clock, and realize half your day is already gone. Now you're rushing, stressing, and worst of all, you don't even have time to re-up at your favorite shop. That's exactly where today's sponsor, Everything 420, comes in. No more last-minute drives across town or dealing with shops closing early. E420 is one of the biggest online Zaza shops out there, delivering everything you need fast, affordable, and completely discreet. Whether you're looking for the everyday essentials to keep your sessions going, or you just want to stock up ahead of time, they've got you covered. But what makes them really stand out are their mystery boxes. These boxes are loaded with gear and goodies you'd probably pick up anyway, but with the added fun of surprise. It's like giving yourself a mini little Christmas every time one shows up at your door. So if you're ready for a one-stop shop for all your grassy needs, all you have to do is be at least 21, check the pinned comment for the link, or download the E420 app and enjoy an even smoother browsing experience right on your phone. Now, I'm personally convinced Zaza bends time both ways. Like, if you're just sitting there waiting for the pizza guy, time basically grinds to a halt. You ordered a cheesy crust, double pepperoni masterpiece, haven't eaten in 6 hours. You timed the order perfectly so it would land just as you finished your J and tidied up. The plan was airtight. But now you're starving, high, fixated on that pizza like it's the holy grail. Then you check your phone and it says, estimated delivery 30 minutes? Bruh, it's already been 30 minutes. Man, I think I gotta call BS. On the flip side, light up during the day, boot up your favorite game, and suddenly time doesn't slow down at all. It disappears. You're laser focused on farming holy relics, stacking your DPS, grinding HP containers, and just as you finally drop the skeleton keeper for the last item... Oh shit! I forgot I have a job! And that's the beauty of the Zaza. It can make time vanish when you need an escape from the grind or stretch it out so you can savor a moment. The trick is balance, because when you overdo it, that escape stops being a luxury and starts feeling like a requirement just to get through the day. But hey, I've ranted about that at least 37 times on this channel already, so let's instead move on to something you might have already known, just maybe not to the full extent, and that is, animals can get high too. People forget it's not just humans who can get high, animals can too. In fact, plenty of them actively seek it out. For example, cats with catnip. That's basically their version of top shelf Zaza. They roll in it, rub their faces in it, then proceed to sprint around the house like they just railed an energy drink. Dolphins have been passing around pufferfish to get a mild buzz off their toxins. That's literally aquatic hotboxing. And reindeer, they'll dig through snow to eat psychedelic mushrooms, then stumble around like it's day one of Burning Man. But here's the kicker. Animals don't have the same relationship with THC that humans do. our endocannabinoid system can process it in ways theirs can't. Dogs and cats, for example, are way more sensitive, so that funny idea of blowing smoke in your pug's face, not only is it cruel, it can actually be toxic. Your dog doesn't need to experience Snoop Dogg mode. Just saying. So yeah, animals can get high, sometimes even on purpose. The difference is nature gave them their own party flavors. Humans just invited cannabis to the guest lists, which perfectly brings us to, unlike a lot of animals, humans are wired for weed. Now, here's the real twist. Animals can get high, but humans are actually wired for it, like built-in compatibility modes. See, cats have catnip, dolphins have their pufferfish, reindeer have their mushrooms, but humans? We've got something called the endocannabinoid system. It's a network of receptors scattered all over the brain and body. CB1, CB2, that regulate mood, appetite, memory, pain, sleep. Basically, all the things it's famous for messing with. And the wild part is, our bodies already make their own weed-like chemicals called endocannabinoids. Stuff like anandamida, nicknamed the bliss molecule, it's what gives you that runner's high or that weird wave of calm after eating chocolate. Cannabis just happens to produce compounds that fit those receptors like a skeleton key, especially THC, which plugs in and starts messing with the system. So while your dog might get wrecked from a tiny crumb of an edible, your body is running software straight out of the box. It's not that evolution designed us to spark a joint at 420, but it definitely gave us the hardware to handle it. Think of it like nature pre-installing YouTube on your phone. Cannabis just supplies that premium subscription. But, well, if you do get too high, it's good to know that CBD can actually counteract a too intense high. Yeah, the same plant that turned you into a human beanbag chair also comes with its own built-in antidote. CBD works kind of like the responsible older brother of THC. They both knock on the same brain receptors, but when CBD shows up, Bigley says, "Boy, stop all this horsing around, bloody wankers." Which, I don't know if CBD has a British accent, but you get the idea. So, if you're spiraling, heart racing, thoughts racing, convinced your Uber driver is secretly an undercover cop, a little CBD can take the edge off. And if you don't have CBD handy, there's the old school stoner life hack, black peppercorns. They're loaded with terpenes like beta-caryophyllene that can mellow out a THC overload. Just don't get too weird about it. Chewing pepper like you're auditioning for the Food Network isn't exactly a good look. Moral of the story, if cranks the volume too high, CBD is basically the remote control. You might not get back to completely sober, but at least you'll stop refreshing Google for, "Can you die from eating too many edibles?" And now for the really crazy one, and that is the fact that the US government actually has its own secret farm. Yeah, the same people who tell you is illegal at the federal level, they've been quietly growing it for decades. It's tucked away at the University of Mississippi, and it all started back in the 1960s when the feds decided they needed a steady supply of cannabis for official research. So while they were running Just Say No campaigns and blastering anti-weed ads on TV, Uncle Sam was running his own grow-op in the background. Legal for them, illegal for you. Classic. Now, don't get it twisted. This isn't some premium frosty dispensary flower. By most reports, the government stash is tragic. We're talking dry, crumbly, brown flakes that look like oregano someone vacuum sealed in the Nixon era. Basically, if dispensary is 5-star dining, government is the gas station hot dog of cannabis. Technically still weed, but you regret touching it immediately. And here's where it gets even crazier. Starting in 1978, the government actually mailed joints to patients through something called the Compassionate Investigational New Drug Program. A few dozen people with conditions like glaucoma and multiple sclerosis were legally prescribed cannabis rolled up by the government and shipped in little tins. Each tin held about 300 pre-rolls, and patients got a fresh supply every month. Imagine opening your mailbox and finding a federally issued can of mids stamped property of the US government. But the program shut down to new applicants in 1992 after the AIDS crisis led to a flood of requests. Today, only a handful of the original patients are still alive and technically still receiving tins from Mississippi. For everyone else, that subscription service is long gone. Still, it's kind of wild to think while regular people were being locked up for carrying a single joint, the feds were quietly tending their own plants in Mississippi and mailing out weed like Publishers Clearinghouse. Hypocrisy, science experiment, maybe both. Either way, next time someone says, "The government is hiding something," you can nod and say, "Yeah, man, it's weed." From
Summer's end till the winter comes, till gray days turn to yellow ones. I stay grinding for mine. I try to tell them once, to travel to the moon, you gotta brave the elements. And battle many goons, you gotta cage the elephants. It's elementary, I speak with a certain eloquence. I smoke hella blunts that haven't been developed since I was a young boy playing the silver ball. See them stand, feel them fall, Metallica, kill them all. Living like this is my last moment, but a moment could last forever. Snap a picture in that colon. Give it whatever you going, sip in your glass, hold it up, hit the side on mine, get the tip in the back, go in. So many days we were sitting low. Better get busy living till the day you giving it. They get to go where the sinners go. Pulling the cash and spending it slow. Better make it fast, but them shit no matter no money, yo, it's all expendable. You'll be alright, yeah.